sharing with you in this video how to recreate yourself into a new identity to help you attract your goals. Because the truth is that you can absolutely recreate yourself into a completely new person, and you're not limited to the current identity that you have in your life. Whoever you think you are, whatever way you've been attached to for however many years in your life, this can all absolutely change. When people say that old dogs cannot learn new tricks, I disagree with this, because the truth is that, old dogs can absolutely learn new tricks, but the question is, are they willing to? If you're willing to improve your life, if you have a willingness, if you have a desire to recreate yourself and to attract your goals in a much easier way, then this is going to be the experience that you create for yourself. And so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to actually do this is to just remember that, number one, you are a new person moment to moment. Like every single moment, you're a new person. You're never the same person. People think that they're just static individuals, right? But this is the stagnated energy talking. When you're in a stagnated state, you think like, oh, this is just how I am. This is how I've always been, and I cannot change this part of myself. This is just how it is. It's just how it is, right? But I want to invite you to open yourself up to the idea that you are, in fact, quite literally transforming and shifting into a completely different person moment to moment. Like every single moment, you're shifting. You're not the same. When you look at somebody, they have the potential to be a completely new person every single moment. And if you see them in just that limited way that you've seen them the last 15, 20 years, you're doing them a disservice. That's a disservice. If you want to see somebody in the highest light and the highest possible light, to see them in the as the greatest version of who they are, you cannot just limit them to who they have been however long until you've known them up to this point. Because in this present moment, they have the potential in this present moment, in this space that we call the present moment, they can turn into a different person. They can shift into a different person. So remember that you are a new person moment to moment. See, wouldn't it be so selfish just to see somebody as who they have been the last 10 years? Really think about this. If you want to be the most selfless and, the most selfless individual that offers people service, and where you're being selfless to people and you're serving them, if you want to do this, then what we have to start to do is remember that we can start to see them as a new individual moment to moment. They're not limited to who they've been. Who they used to be is not who they can be now. Who they used to be has nothing to do with who they can be. Who they've been has very little to do with who they can be today or tomorrow or in this moment right now. And so the second thing that I want to share with you in this video is just remember that you can choose a new identity. You can choose a new identity. So people think that they can't choose a new identity, and that's the problem with life, is that we walk through life and we think that we cannot choose a new identity. Like we think that, we're just limited to who we've been. If you have this default belief that you can't even choose a new identity, then that's how you're going to walk through life. Is you're just going to walk through life believing that, you can't choose a new identity, when in reality, the truth is that you absolutely can. You absolutely can choose a new identity, and it starts with the belief that you can. So if you don't believe that you can, and you walk through life believing that you cannot even be a new person, that's going to be the kind of experience that you create yourself, and those are going to be the kind of experiences that you attract and magnetize towards your experience. And if you would like to magnetize a different type of experience in your life, one of the most important things to do is to remember that you can choose a new identity. You can choose a new identity. Like I want to ask you a question. Do you believe that you can be a new person in this present moment? Do you believe from the forefront that you can even choose a new identity? Or do you believe that you are limited to who you've been? Because I want you to open yourself up, and I might encourage you to believe that you are a fluid person that can change moment to moment based on the needs of the present moment that's in front of you. Based on the situation, based on what a person needs, based on what you need, you can change. You can be fluid. And if you feel stagnated, well, that's your sign to align with a new version of yourself. Stagnation is nothing more than a reminder that you can be something different, that you can be something different in your life. That old identity, that old part of you doesn't need to be who you are anymore. So when you choose a new identity, you can align with this version of yourself. And I want you to just remember that you can actually do this. That's the key here, is that you can do this. You can choose a new identity. If you think like, oh, I can't be a new person, yes, you can. You can be a completely new, you can recreate yourself today and be a new person tomorrow. Sometimes you can see it in a person, in their essence, that you see them and they're like, oh my goodness, this person from yesterday is not the same person. You can see that something has transformed and shifted in this person. And how does that happen? That happens when they make an internal decision to be something else. You're gonna see something different in that person when they make that decision. When they make that decision, they're gonna be something else. They're gonna be a different person, and you're gonna see them in that way because they've decided to be something else. When somebody decides to be something else, you are gonna notice that in them. You're gonna notice that in their essence. When you decide to be something else, people are gonna notice that in how you show up, in how you are. You're not gonna need to convince them that you've changed. You're not gonna need to tell them about the change. They're gonna see it in your being. They're gonna see it in how you're showing up. They're gonna see it in your actions, because different identities have different behaviors. They're gonna see that you're behaving in a different way. Behavioral changes can only happen when you choose a new version of yourself. If you want to change the behaviors in your life, make behavior level changes that actually shift your life in a very powerful way, and an extremely powerful way, you need to remember that you can choose a new identity in your life. This is something that you can do. Remember this. Try your best not to forget this, because it's so easy to forget, right? But try your best just to actually remember this, so that you can walk through your life with a knowing that you don't need to be limited to some old version of who you used to be. Now, the final thing that I want to share with you in this video is just to remember that when that old version of you rises up to the surface and you feel like you can't be that version of yourself, I want you to remember that that old identity is no longer you. It's no longer you. That's not you. It's going to come up, right? There's going to be problems and challenges that arise to the surface. But when they come up, just remember that that's no longer you. This is how you shift your identity. This is how you become a new person, is that you no longer identify with that version of yourself any longer. When it comes up, and it's going to, because that's who you used to be. That's the behavior that you've been attached to. When it comes up, you simply make a choice and decide against that version of yourself, not from a space of resistance, where you believe like, I need to resist or dishonor that version of myself. It's not about resistance. It's not about saying that you dishonor that part of yourself. It's about saying that I don't want to be that version of myself anymore. And so when it comes up, that's not me, right? It's no longer me. It's not you. You decide that that's no longer you. And then you instead focus on the new version of yourself that you decided to be instead in your life. And then you focus on just being that version of yourself in this present moment. You ignore the old version of yourself, in the sense that when it comes up, you decide that it's not you. That's not you anymore. You can be who you want to be. Your intentions are going to be created, because you see that anything that misaligns with those intentions is not you. It's not the behaviors that you're adopting and choosing to be anymore. You choose to be something else. You choose to align with a different identity. And then from there, you can be a much more integrated human being that is much more aligned with the goals that you want to see happen in your life. And I strongly believe that if you apply what I'm sharing with you in this video, this is what you're going to need to recreate yourself into a new identity. And that's going to help you to attract your goals. Because if you remember that you are a new person moment to moment, if you remember that you can absolutely choose a new identity, you can do this. You're not limited to who you used to be. And then when that version of you comes up, you say that that's not me anymore. These are the things that are going to help you to recreate yourself. And as a result, I strongly believe that you're going to be able to attract your goals in a much easier way and get the things that you actually want in your life. And that's going to happen in a way where you're still honoring yourself. You still feel like you're respecting yourself and respecting your past. You don't dishonor the past, but you still shift into that new version of yourself, and you shift into that new